Hi, this is Carol with Fabric, and in this video I'm going to demonstrate some of the core scheduling features of our new Xytech UI called X2. So what we're looking at here is the scheduling view. Over here we have our navigator menu, which opens and shuts, and this is how you can get to your scheduling views. Under schedules, which I've clicked on already, I've opened up my schedule view. One thing I do want to point out is that I'm using this in dark mode. You have the ability to quickly switch from dark mode to light mode just with one click here, and that's really your color theme. Okay, so I'm looking at my schedule view for today. I've got my resources over here. I've got some stages, engineers, editors, and so on. And one thing you'll notice is that it's very quick and responsive in this new UI. I'm looking at one day. I could quickly zoom in or out by hitting the plus or minus, and we also have some shortcuts. So if I wanted to look at 2 days or 3 days or a week, I could just click on these and change my zoom. Okay. So the resources are already configured on my production view, which is what I'm looking at. I could also have mini views here, which I do. You can see you could have unlimited views configured for the things that you need to schedule. I also have a shift schedule here. And this one I've configured simply to show my rosters or my shifts, and that's at a glance so I can tell who's working what shift on what days. And again, I can move and switch it. This one's looking at 3 days at a time. I could certainly switch it to as many days as I'd like. Maybe I want to look at a week at a time, and I could certainly see the shift. Now, under settings, I can change what days do I want to see. Maybe I don't schedule on Saturdays or Sundays. I could turn off those days if I want. I can also set my view to start and end at a certain time, so it doesn't have to be 24 hours. You can see in this view I'm starting at 6 a.m. and ending at 9 p.m. And then I control on this view what bookings do I want to see, what type of booking. So here I only want to see rosters and time offs. I don't want to see work orders or quick holds. And if you don't like AM and PM and you want to use military or 24-hour time, you could certainly turn that on. Conflicts I have turned on to highlight. I don't want to see voided work orders, so I'm hiding those. And then roster status badges is if a roster or time off request has been approved, do I want to see the approval or the status badge? Some other settings here is the opacity of the roster booking line. So mine is about 60%. Of course, I can make it darker or lighter depending on how you want to view your roster bars. Your row height here determines the height of the booking row. So mine's set to basically one row, but if I expanded it, it could be much larger. It just depends on how much information you want to display on the row text and also how many resources do you want to see at a time. You can also control how often do you want your scheduling view to refresh. Mine is set to 60 seconds. So every minute it'll refresh and pull in any changes that maybe other schedulers have created or added. And then you've got your time zone down here and some settings if you want to be able to reorganize things by dragging over here in this far column, as well as dragging a booking to reschedule it. If you make changes to it, to whatever view you're looking at, you can just click on the save icon to save your changes. Resources to any view, it's very easy. You just click on the resources button and you can search by group, by the resource itself, or even by the type. So if I wanted to find all my resources that were of a certain type, I could just type it in here and it would find it. So if I just type OP for operators, it's finding all of the ones that are the type operator. If I wanted to find any groups that had the word graphics, it brought up graphic bays, graphics personnels, and I could just simply come here and just check the ones that I want to see, or I can check the group itself and it'll add them all to the view that I have here. Okay. So that's how you can add or remove resources from your view. Again, if you've made changes, you just want to click that save icon to save your changes. We also have an undo, so if you make a booking and you want to change it, you can undo it. There's a hotkey for that as well called Control-Z, and I only know that because there's a lot of hotkeys which are under this question mark. If you click on it, it's going to show you all the hotkeys that are available, and there'll be more coming in the future. But as a scheduler who uses the scheduling view quite often, you'll quickly memorize the hotkeys for the functions that you do often. Okay, I'm going to switch back over here to my production view. And one thing you'll notice here is that there's the booking bars and the colors, which represent the phases. All the colors that you see, all of the text that you see on the booking bar, as well as in this hover box that comes up, is configurable. So you can control what colors you want to see, what information do you want to see on the bar, as well as in the hover box. A new feature that we did add into this X2 UI is the ability to, at a glance, see not only how many resources do I have in a group, but how many bookings without even expanding it. So you can see here, my stages is expanded, my engineers are expanded, but it's telling me I have 4 stages and there's 3 bookings. And I can also see the bookings because it's expanded. But for sites that have a lot of groups and resources, and maybe you don't want to have to expand them all, you could at a glance see, here's my edit bays. I'm not going to expand it, but I know I have 4 edit bays and there's 2 bookings for today. So that just means I have 2 edit bays available if I need to schedule something. I don't have to open up every group to see what's actually scheduled. So you can see down here I have quite a few groups where I don't have them expanded. It's just at a glance I can tell how many resources I have and how many bookings I have for this current date that I'm looking at without even opening it up to see the actual bookings. Okay, so if I needed to reschedule something, for example, maybe I want to move this to stage 2, simply click and drag and just reposition it. Also, to change the time, start or end time, you can just click on the edge and reposition it. So I'm going to move this in slightly so it ends a little bit sooner. I could also click on a booking and just drag it to a whole new time if I wanted to. To maneuver to a different date, we've got these options up here to move forward in time, a day at a time, backwards in time, a week, and also a month at a time. You can also click on the date and pick any date you want to move to, forward or backwards. Let's say I went back a couple weeks. To get back to today, I just hit the letter T. That's one of the hotkeys that you would learn from our little shortcut menu here. So select mode is what I'm in right now. That allows me to select a booking and I can do things with it. So if I can either drag it or move it. I can also right click on a booking and there's lots of things here. I can copy a transaction or a booking. I can copy it to another work order. I can add additional resources to any of these bookings. I can also split a booking. This is another new feature. So if I wanted to split that stage booking, I could say I want to split it into 2 parts. And it's telling me right here what it's going to do, and it's trying to make it into equal parts. I can also control the intervals if I want, or I can set a custom interval. So I'm just going to go ahead and say I want to make it into 2 parts, and it's going to split that stage booking into 2 parts. So now it's 2 parts, and maybe I want to just move this over a little bit because there's going to be maybe an intermission or some kind of downtime in the middle of this booking. It's still the same work order. I've just split the stage part of it so that there is a break in the middle. Okay. You can also easily actualize a transaction or a booking just by right-clicking on it and going to actualize, and that will update the phase. And then deleting a transaction as well is super simple, and you can also avoid the entire order. Now, in order to create new bookings, you want to be in draw mode. So one way to do that is just click on the word select. It'll switch you over to draw mode. Or if you used your hotkeys, you would know that the letter D would put you into draw mode. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the letter D. Now I'm in draw mode, as you can see. And what that means is I can draw anywhere in the book on any resource or resources that I want to create a booking for. So if I wanted to add a booking for these 3 resources, here is my booking drawer, and it's coming open here and letting me finish my booking. It's showing me the times that I clicked on. And if I want to assign a job. I could pick a job. It's going to bring up the most recent jobs that I've been using, but I can certainly search for the job by the name or by the job number if I knew it. Okay, if I wanted to add these to an existing work order, again, I can search for the work order by its description or by a number and just add those 3 resources to an existing work order. I could also create a quick hold and just type in a description, and then it would just show up as a quick hold, and I pick my phase. So I'm going to pick tentative. I could put some notes in here for anybody else that's going to look at it and wants to know why the quick hold is added. And then we also have the ability to add a roster, which is basically someone's shift. Typically, you would not add rosters for a stage, so I'm not going to do that in this case. But I would hit create, and then it's going to create my quick hold. And then again, to get out of draw mode, if I want to go back to select mode, I hit the letter D again, and now I'm back to select mode, and I can select and move things around, delete things, and there you go. Some other quick things you can do here. We're looking at the timeline view. I can look at a day view, and it's going to look at the people that are on my view. And as you can see, I can scroll quite a bit to see them all. But it's showing me all the people and what they're booked on for this day that I'm looking at. I can also go to a month view, and it's going to try and show me as many bookings as it can for the resources. And here's a new feature we've added, which is really cool. It's called availability. Based on the resources on my view, it's showing me how many there are, how many bookings, and the availability and the utilization. So down here, I can see Bill has 6 bookings. He's booked for 69 hours. He's definitely working 100% plus utilization. Down here, I have Juan, who has 4 bookings scheduled for 34 hours, and that's about a 61% utilization based on his resource settings. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to pick my shift schedule. I could do the same thing here. All right, so that's about it for this scheduling demo. Stay tuned for more. We're going to get into jobs and work orders in our next video.